What's going on, people? Bed and Breakfast live on a Thursday for November 18th. Ben Heisler, Iain MacMillan, Donnavan, Smoot, glad to have you guys with us on the show today. Plenty to dive into on Bet and Breakfast this morning. We'll get into our BetSided Pro-Am. It is, of course, a Thursday, so we got a great slate of college football and NFL for this week, and we will go over our top plays and our top fades. We'll also get into our best bets for Thursday night. Big week happening, especially for you, Iain, over in New York City, where I didn't realize that someone had knocked on your door earlier this week, possibly to showcase your apartment in Brooklyn to the rest of the world. Was this like house hunters? Was this, for like a new renovation project? What could possibly people wanted to do to show your apartment to the world? This is fascinating.
It was a location scout for Law and Order Special Victims Unit, which I didn't even know was still a show, but apparently it's still on. It's like 26th season. It's been on since 1999.
Forever.
But it's been on forever. Apparently, though, my apartment gives off big reclusive bomber's hideout vibes, which, I mean, it'll be cool if they use my apartment in the show and I'll get a little bit of money for it, but also it's kind of a ricochet shot about my poor apartment. But we'll see how that pans out.
What's sort of the opportunity cost? Like how many units would they have to offer you for you to be like, all right, I'm ready to showcase my apartment as a bomber's reclusive hideout? Like what's the paying cost here?
That's a great question. I thought about proposing to them either give me like, I think I'd do it for like $500. Am I lowballing it? $500? Or I would just take a cameo. I think a cameo on the show would be pretty cool.
What would you do, Donnavan?
I would probably go for a cameo, but I don't know if $500. I've never been in this position. No one from SVU's ever knocked on my door and try to,
I don't know what I don't know what the going price for that is.
Yeah, but if I could be in SVU and just have like some, crazy line, they put everybody in SVU because it's been on forever. So I would love to be a part of the SVU family as a cameo.
All right, here's my proposal to you, Iain. Would you do it for $1,000, just you as a cameo, or for $500, but you get to wear the bacon suit from Bacon Bets?
Oh, $500 and I'll wear the bacon suit.
Okay.
Sure.
Done.
Yeah.
Also, I learned this week, as again, we get a chance to know each other a little bit better. Donnavan is a big sing out loud in the car guy. And with the new Sonic album coming out, like you told me that you like nearly lost your voice singing along to this new album. Like, I didn't know that you could learn the words and the lyrics that fast, that quickly, to the point where your voice could be lost.
Well, I mean, I was running each song back probably like 5 times, and so I know everything. Listen, I'm a huge Silk Sonic fan. Those are my guys, Bruno Mars, Anderson .Paak. They don't make bad songs, and so I'm so happy like that they came together. It's probably gonna happen again because Adele's dropping tonight, so this is gonna be exactly. I know that was my reaction last night when I remembered. So it's gonna be a great weekend.
All right, I'm excited for that. So like, are you? They're clearly your favorite group, like you said, but are you dropping them at karaoke? Like who's your go-to for that? Like what's the song? Because I feel like your go-to karaoke song says a lot about the type of person that you are. So like what would be that song for you? Would it be a Silk Sonic song? Would it be someone from Bruno? Would it be something else?
No, so it's funny. So I don't have a go-to karaoke song, but a couple weeks ago, me and my homies, we went out and we actually did karaoke like in front of just like some random people. And so we did 2 songs, and the one that we closed with was "Buy You a Drink" by T-Pain. And so I think that was very solid. The crowd was into it. And I think, listen, I forgot how the cadence went, so I went into the bathroom like 5 minutes before and listened to the song over and over and did it. So I think if you give me a 5-minute bathroom break before any performance, I'll be good.
Our guy Peter, by the way, checks in and says that "Take Care" is easily my go-to karaoke song.
Oh my goodness, that's an awful choice. I love Drake. That's not a good karaoke song.
All right, we'll have to instruct Peter. Hopefully, his karaoke choices start to rise up to his level of early season NBA picks at some point. What about for you, Iain? What's the song that if you're at a karaoke bar now in Brooklyn or New York City that you feel the need to have to bounce out?
Yeah, my apartment actually shares a wall with a karaoke bar, which is kind of funny.
Does it
But
really?
What?
yeah, I can't hear it
Oh
though, so
no.
I mean it's fine. But yeah, we literally like you share a wall with them. Anything I would choose any song by the greatest pop band to ever grace the face of the earth. Do you know who the greatest pop band is?
I feel like you're gonna make a Canadian reference, but
Not Canadian, no.
I just wanted you to tell us who it is. I don't know.
Aqua.
Oh God.
I'm talking Barbie Girl. I'm
Oh
talking
God.
Candyman. Talking Dr. Jones. Heat of the Night. Oh man, Aquarium by Aqua is the greatest pop CD of all time. Pop in any song from that CD, from that album, I'll sing it at karaoke.
Wow. Aqua. I didn't. Donovan, did you think we were gonna get an Aqua reference today?
No, I didn't. Listen, Ian, I'll take your word for it. I'll take your word on it.
Wow. All right. Salute to you on Aqua. That is impressive. Brian checks in, says Sweet Caroline is the best choice for, I suppose, like if you're in Boston in the middle of a baseball stadium, it's a great choice. This is awesome because Young Acorn is right there with me. I drop a little bye, bye, bye at karaoke. We're talking about good pop bands.
Do you do the dance as well?
The only part I know is like this part. So like and then there's like a little bit of this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I wasn't gonna get up from the chair to go ahead and do it. So I'll do a little instinct bye bye bye. Sometimes like depending, you want karaoke to be a good sing along option. You want to get everybody there fired up. So another good one that I'll do every so often is, you guys know Wagon Wheel, like Darius Rucker kind of made it even more famous. Yonder Mountain String Band. So sometimes I'll go in that direction. I used to do a song called Walking in Memphis by Mark Cohn. Do you guys know that one too?
I don't know that.
Okay. Yeah, I figured we were starting to go a little bit from like stuff everybody knows to moving on. Also, our guy Reed checking in saying, buy you a drink doesn't miss. All right. So next time everybody gets together, this is going to be something that we're going to have to see. So feel free to send us your top karaoke songs over in the chat as well. We'll make sure that we run it up the flagpole and debate it amongst ourselves. Let's dive into the Pro-Am, guys. We got a bunch of really good NFL and college games this week. I always take this as an opportunity for us to break down with each other the games that we are playing versus the games that we are fading. Good opportunity to see where our confidence is, and also where we're trying to figure out where the sharp money versus the public money is going. So let me start with you, Ian. Is there a game on the slate that you love? Is there a game on the slate that you hate? And where are you going with it?
Yeah, a game on the slate that I love is actually, and this is going against the public on this one, I love the Vikings against the Packers here. Slight underdogs, the Vikings are at home. I don't think the Packers are as good as their record indicates. I went on Twitter calling the Titans frauds recently. Well, the Packers are kind of the frauds of the NFC. They're a good team, but you look at their offensive numbers, very average. They're like 15th in yards per play, 15th in like yards per pass. And very average offense. Now, their defense, very, very good at stopping the run. Elite pass defense, but you can run the ball against the Packers. They're like 26th or 27th in opponent yards per carry. And then we know, of course, the Vikings have a very efficient run game. So I think the Vikings are going to be able to run the ball against this Packers team. And I think we're going to see a little bit of spread regression from the Vikings because they're what now? 8-1 against the spread, 9-1 against the spread. They're not going to finish the season, with only one loss against the spread. So we're going to see a little bit of regression with the Packers spread record as well. So I like the Vikings to pull off the upset this weekend. And the game that I'm going to avoid, well, I have to bet on every game, but if there is a game that I would avoid, it's that Dolphins-Jets game. I mean, it's a garbage game between two garbage teams, and who knows what's going to happen when two of the worst teams in the NFL meet with each other, especially because Joe Flacco is getting the start, which is absolutely insane to me. People forget, though, two-time Super Bowl champ. But I would stay away from that one because any time the two bad teams meet, you never really know what's going to happen.
I suppose that's true. Anything can happen the moment the Joe Flacco steps onto the field. That's what they would say over at the sportsbook is the corner TV game, the one that you just sort of put off to the side, and like the only people that are watching that game are the absolute degenerates. So I completely understand that perspective. Is there a play and a fade for you this week, Donnavan?
Yeah, I like the Raiders this week against Cincinnati. I know that, Vegas, they've lost 2 in a row, but their offense, they can still move the ball on anybody. They're still top 10 in yards per play, top 10 in yards per game. They've had a 2-game losing streak this season, and they come back on it. Also, the Bengals they're reeling a little bit. They lost to the Jets, and they and they gave up 40 points to Cleveland. I think this is a really good get back spot for the Raiders. They've covered in 3 of the last 4, and so I think if Cincinnati comes out and hasn't completely fixed their issues, they can get got, especially on the road.
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, and then I think, and listen, you and me, we're here on the Titans. I think that the Titans are frauds. That, and they're going to be my fate. They're going to be my fate of the week. You can still move the ball on them. You can still run the ball. They're bottom 3rd in the league in yards per rush. You can still throw the ball on them. They're bottom 5 in pass yards per game. These last 2 weeks have been a fluke, right? Their leading rusher since Derrick Henry has gone out has been Deonta Foreman. He had 30 yards against the Saints and 29 yards against the Rams. And outside of Marcus Johnson last week, who had 100 yards, they haven't had a 50-yard receiver. Their offense sucks right now. They can't get anything going. I really think that Houston, with Tyrod coming off of a bye, he's gonna be healthy. I think we're gonna be able to see the Tyrod that we saw at the beginning of the season, the one that's a little bit more mobile, a little bit more stable, and I think Tennessee gets got here as well.
You guys want to know a secret? Don't tell our boss that Deonta Foreman kind of sucks. He just picked him up in fantasy. Don't tell anybody. Yeah. The Titans, they've made themselves into a really good spot where if they do get Derrick Henry back, then maybe perhaps they can make some noise, especially if their pass rush continues to be as effective as it's been. But they're also capitalizing on a bunch of key turnovers. And again, that regression comes throughout the year. So I don't know if I'm ready to go ahead and join the full-on Titans or frauds bandwagon, but I completely understand. I've faded in the last few. I've faded them the last few weeks. I don't know if I'm completely ready to stick that fork in. That's a good play by you. That's well done. For me, I like the Colts. Love the Colts this week. I mentioned it already on the Best Bets video that we recorded over at BetSided and right here on YouTube. I really think the Colts are live in this game. Frank Reich 4-0 against the spread, off an against the spread loss. And then Jonathan Taylor continues to be an absolute difference maker for the Colts. Really, once he got going, it was more so him than Carson Wentz, I think, that helped get them to a more successful point. They're 11-0 when he rushes for 80-plus yards, and he's been averaging almost 120 plus per game over the last 5 weeks, and they've gone 4-1. The one game that he didn't rush for over 80 yards was that loss to the Tennessee Titans, and that was an overtime loss. So if Taylor gets going against Buffalo, if they can establish the run with him, I know that we can laugh a lot of times at teams that are trying to establish the run. Certainly Seattle is sort of that case. I wrote about that over at BetSided this week. But for the Colts in particular, it's just so instrumental to their success on offense that I think that's really a key for them. And then the fade for me, I can't figure out why the Sharps love the Chicago Bears this week. I've watched the Chicago Bears. I've seen one half of football. I'm a Chicago Bears fan. I've seen one half of football that has been inspiring all season long. That's it. So if you're going to tell me that a second half against Pittsburgh is all of a sudden going to open things up against a Ravens team that's going to be pretty pissed coming off a bad Thursday night loss with extra rest, I go to the Bears to have a bye too. Just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I have serious concerns with the Bears' ability to pick up the Ravens blitz. To me, I have those visions of week 3 when Justin Fields got sacked 9 times against the Cleveland Browns where they just could not handle the pass rush. So I don't get the sharp play. I feel like Fields is going to be running for his life here. This is not a game that I want to get on. All right. Before we get out of here, we have best bets for Thursday. You have plenty of action in the NFL, NBA going on tonight as well, college hoops, NHL. So I will kick things off with you, Donnavan, for Thursday night. Tell me where you're going.
I'm going to Denver. I'm going with last year's MVP. I think the Nuggets cover at 7.5 against the Sixers. Denver's they've won 3 of the last. The last 3 wins have been by 9 points. They also have the best scoring defense in the league. They keep their opponents, to the least amount of rebounds in the league. They're also 7-1 at home, which was very surprising. I didn't realize that until I was looking at it before. But they're great at home, and I think Philadelphia without Simmons, obviously, and without Embiid, Doc has been playing hard, but it's just not enough. I mean, if you have Tyrese Maxey and Andre Drummond as your second and third option, and I don't want to hate on Maxey because he's actually taking a leap, but if it's whether it's Andre Drummond or Paul Reed that's playing that 5 position, Jokic is going to get his. And I just don't think that they have enough offensively to go on the road. They've lost 5 in a row as well. I just think that they just don't have enough tonight against Denver.
I think that call, especially at home, is a really good one where Denver is usually able to take advantage of teams, particularly in the high altitude. They're really prepared for that, and they can sort of move on. 7.5 is a lot, but I'm with you there. I think that's the right play. Ian, I know you're looking at the Thursday night game tonight. Patriots 7-point favorites against Atlanta. Your Falcons at home have an opportunity to redeem themselves after a bad loss against the Cowboys. And other than that loss, they've actually been playing substantially better football since the beginning part of the season. But it is the Patriots, and I know that scares the absolute daylights out of you.
Yeah, this is not going to be a good day for Falcons fan. If any other Falcons fans out there, I'd recommend just not watching tonight's game because it's going to be ugly. I don't like to use the term lock, but I think the Patriots are going to blow the Falcons just completely over the water tonight. I mean, this matchup is cursed. The Patriots are 6-0 straight up and against the spread since Bill Belichick has taken over as head coach. Falcons haven't beat the Patriots since 1998. And then not only are the Patriots going to just destroy the Falcons tonight, we're going to get 28-3 games shoved in our face at least 8 times throughout the broadcast. It's not going to be a fun night. But also, I mean, everyone was high on the Falcons heading into last week. I was one of those people when they were 4-4. But their wins came against the Jets, the Giants, the Dolphins. Who was the other? Oh, and the Saints. I mean, those aren't really great wins, and still statistically they rank in like the bottom 7 or 8, even though they had a pretty easy schedule to start the season. So Patriots are trending upwards. They look fantastic. The Falcons got exposed for the team that they are when they finally faced a good team in the Cowboys this past weekend. I think the Patriots are going to win by millions tonight. I might cry at halftime. We'll see.
Well, I was just going to say, if the Patriots win by 1 million, if that number climbs to 7.5, I'm jumping all over Atlanta tonight. I feel like that's a great number to get at home. Do you see the number getting to 7.5?
It certainly could. It seems like a lot of people are on the Falcons. I was looking for the biggest alternate spread I could find yesterday, and I found Patriots minus 19.5 at like plus 375, and I might sprinkle on that, to be honest.
Oh man, that is the most emo bet of emo bets from one game.
It really is.
Good Lord. I will actually give you something positive for the Atlanta Falcons tonight. I like Matt Ryan to go over his touchdown prop. I think it's actually very good value over at WinBet Sportsbook. It's at plus 135. I know he hasn't done it in 2 of his last 3 games, but he had done it in 5 consecutive games leading up to it. Granted, as Ian mentioned, they were against some bums, teams like the Jets, and the Saints hadn't been playing well, and they ended up going and upsetting them there. But I do think it's plus value for a team that's likely going to be playing from behind. So at some point, they're going to have to move the ball forward, and he's already throwing a ton. Patriots defense is pretty good. They're 4th in NFL in touchdowns allowed. But Matt Ryan has also thrown more than 30 passes in all but 2 games this year. So it's going to be a big part of the offense. I think at some point you just have to move the football forward. He'll for sure get 1, and I imagine he can get that second one perhaps in garbage time. You can get that at plus value. All right. Appreciate you guys hanging out and waking up with us. One more thing from our buddy Young Acorn wants to know if we can get an early degenerate college basketball pick. We won't have one on the podcast, but a little bit later on, if you go over to fansided.com/betsided, our guy Reed Wallach has plenty of college basketball previews coming up for you guys today. Thank you for joining us. For Ian, for Donnavan, I am Ben. Always great to have you guys be a part of Bet and Breakfast. We will talk to you next Monday for a brand spanking new edition. Until then, so long. May all your bets hit.